Welcome to the Best of Utah from the Maverick Center in West Valley City, Utah. This is the Best of Utah meet featuring all four teams from the Beehive State. Number 5, Utah, the Red Rocks, the headliner, along with Southern Utah, BYU, and Utah State. Wherever and however you're connected, great to have you with us. Great to be back for another gymnastics season. I'm Spencer Linton alongside my longtime friend and outstanding gymnast once upon a time, Mikkel Merkley. We're ready to watch some of the best teams in the country compete, and with some question marks, Mikkel. The Red Rocks coming off a disappointing performance in last weekend's quad meet. They want to make a statement. BYU, maybe a better than expected start from the Cougars. Southern Utah right there with BYU, and Utah State has yet to take the floor until tonight. What do you anticipate in a rare Monday quad meet?
You know, I think Utah's performance, we can agree, that was pretty uncharacteristic. I'm expecting to see very good gymnastics from Utah tonight. BYU and SUU both did very well this weekend. They're returning a lot of returners, and I'm excited to see what they put up. Utah State looked great in warm-ups. I can't wait.
Now, while Utah as a team did not put up the score that they were anticipating, Avery Neff delivered, and she is quickly ascending to stardom at Utah with a perfect 10 on her vault, Mikkel.
Look at those warm-ups. She looks strong. I'm excited to see it again tonight. This sophomore brings a lot of great experience. She's one of 3 Utah captains. And while we're talking about her vault, she's really consistent across the board. Can't wait to see what she puts out there on the floor.
Let's continue with the rest of our impact performers. Now representing Southern Utah is Naya Randolph, the reigning MPSF Gymnast of the Year, back for more.
As we spoke of earlier, SUU started out strong this weekend, and Naya was one of them. She put up 9.8 plus on every single event, including a 9.9 on bars.
For the Utah State Aggies, again, making their season debut tonight. What a stage to do it on. Nyla Morabito, first team All-Mountain West. So while there are, yes, many questions, she seems to have many answers for USU.
USU is looking to her for a lot of good leadership. You mentioned first team All-American on vault and floor. The coaches spoke so much of her work ethic, coming off an Achilles injury, and how happy they are to have her back in lineup.
One of the best of the Mountain West, no doubt about it. For the BYU Cougars, Kylie Equinto helped BYU get off to a great start in a head-to-head win over 17th-ranked Oregon State on Friday night as the Cougars' lone senior.
Kylie's a member of the All Big 12 preseason team and coming off a strong opening weekend as well, highlighted by a new floor routine that brought in a 9.9.
Those are your early impact performers. The first rotation from the Best of Utah meet at the Maverick Center in West Valley City goes down next. Welcome back to the Best of Utah meet on ESPN, a quad meet on a Monday night. Here are where the 4 teams will start to open up. Utah State on vault, the Red Rocks of Utah on beam. Southern Utah will take to the bars, and the BYU Cougars will open up on the floor. Speaking of those BYU Cougars, a moment ago, here is head coach Gard Young.
Coach, the energy is already so high here in the Maverick Center. How important is staying calm and centered going into this meet?
Yeah, this is an unbelievable event. I mean, for the state of Utah to have these 4 schools all come together in this beautiful arena on a podium. I mean, this is an Olympic level event, and I think we get a little spoiled right now, and so we just love the fact that the Maverick Center will partner with us, and that we can have that. Now, in terms of energy, gymnasts thrive on energy. We want energy. And so it's going to be a little tricky. We're going to start on floor, which is going to be the most energetic. We're going to take that over to vault. And then my fear is that energy is going to die. And so I'm already kind of anticipating that. We've got to hype them up for going into that bar rotation.
Kind of going off of that, what is the biggest thing you want to see on your first rotation on the floor?
Yeah, I felt like the girls weren't technically turning over round-offs. And so we actually talked about that. Like, they were doing their tricks and landing a little short. And that wasn't because they don't know how to do their tricks. It's because they're cutting off the round-off. So I'm technically looking at turn your round off over, and we're going to see if that leads to bigger flips.
Thank you, Coach.
You bet.
The first of many interviews from our sideline reporter Mary Hayes tonight with BYU head coach Gard Young. And we take a look at our opening performance on the bars from the Red Rocks of Utah, Elizabeth Gantner.
Huge opening dismount. There, a lot of times we'll see, we're actually looking at SUU right now.
Correction, yes, on Southern Utah.
Yes.
Nia Randolph with that opening bars routine.
Very big dismount, though. Great start for SUU. It's always a great feeling when your first performer gets up and just hits that set.
A little bit chaotic here as all four teams will be competing simultaneously. We will take you to the best events, the best scores, and the prime performances as they unfold tonight. Here is BYU and Brindley Anderson-Brookman on the floor to open up. BYU has a team score of 48.925 in their opening meet of the season on floor.
Great opening so far for Brindley. You can see she opens up with that nice lead pass. She actually gets bonus points for doing that lead pass. BYU is very strong with their dance skills, and they really show them off. Had a great Rudy straddle jump there. On floor, we're looking for tumbling that goes both forward and backwards. The gymnasts are required to go to all four corners of the floor at some point. And then we're also looking for leaps that hit at least 180-degree split.
Brooklyn lining up for the next pass. 9.7 on her first floor routine of the season, hoping to best that here.
This has been a clean routine so far. Beautiful back 1.5 front lay. Very clean start for the Cougars on floor.
Brindley Anderson-Brookman. And a look back at her opening pass.
Nice height on this, Rudy. A little bit of movement on the straddle jump. You can see she moves backwards. We want to see it more up and down just so it looks more controlled. But she did a great job sticking it. That should be a great score.
We await that score and head over to the vault. Utah State. Maya Witt with the beginning vault for the Aggies.
On vault, we're looking for a combination of height and distance from the vault as the gymnasts flip off it. And then, of course, the stuck landing. Yurchenko full twist. Great job. That should be a good start. We're going to see on this replay a little bit of a pike down. Tons of air time. If she had just stayed nice and open in the air as she came down, she probably would have been able to stick that. It's important to remember, though, this is their first time competing this season, so we're still working through those first meet nerves.
Maya Witt cooling herself down, the junior out of Green Acres, Florida, and a good start to her season. Now your first look at the Red Rocks on beam. Here's Elizabeth Gantner. Looking to set the proper tone for Utah and get an important week started the right way.
Yeah, it's kind of nice for them that because it's just a fluke, right, that they had a hard time on beam and they get to start on beam. Just a nice way to reset after that last meet. We are looking at a slightly different lineup than we saw this weekend. Gantner prepares for her first skill. Flick lay, very strong. On beam, we're looking for tumbling that goes both forwards and backwards. A leap or a jump that hits 180-degree split. Oh, shoot.
Hanging on.
So anytime you see a gymnast wobble, it's going to be a deduction. And the way it works is the bigger the bobble, the bigger the deduction that we'll see. A lot more control there. You can see she had to redo the move. That is because gymnastics routines start at a 9.4 start value, and the gymnasts are required to do so many bonus moves, either a really hard trick or tricks connected together in order to get those tenths back to get that 10.0 start value. So we saw her repeat that leap pass in order to connect it to the jump, and she did a good job getting that done.
Dismount for Gantner.
Really works to hold on to that dismount. Great job. She's obviously not going to be very excited about that wobble, but the way she just rebounded and came back and finished strong, that's something to be proud of.
We'll see what Gantner scores after a 9.875 she put together on beam. On Friday, here's Mia Hampton of Southern Utah, third to compete on the uneven bars.
I've been really excited to see Mia compete. Coach Scotty was talking about just what a contributor she is this year. Blind change into a straddle Jaeger. Nice distance on that catch. Beautiful lines. Pack flip into the switch kip. Again, another handstand. The handstands have to be within 10 degrees of vertical to receive no deduction. She demonstrated that beautifully. Nice big double A, just the shift back with the right foot. We will see a slight deduction there, but the rest of her team is very clean.
Those early scores coming in for each of the four teams competing here tonight. Brinley Anderson Brooklyn with the early high score of the four, a 9.85. Gantner with a 9.525 on beam, and now we look back at Olivia Orengo on vault for Utah State.
Gosh, another great Yurchenko full. Again, just a little bit of the pike down. What we want to see from these Yurchenko fulls is that the body stays totally straight until the feet hit. But look at the control on those landings. What a good start for USU.
9.75s for Whitty and Orengo. Randolph and Hampton with a 9.775 and 9.75 on bars for the Flippin' Birds of Southern Utah.
That's like the best mascot, gymnastics mascot right there.
Back to the floor with BYU and Chloe Hoke.
Chloe's another gymnast that starts with that leap pass. It's kind of a thing that BYU does, is it lets them get their leap pass out of the way. It's also nice to get your nerves out of the way as you're starting your floor routine, so that you're a little more mentally in it by the time that first pass comes. Preparing for that opening pass. Round off, double tuck. You can see there the lines on the floor. You are required to stay within those lines. If any part of your foot steps over at all, then it is a 1/10 deduction. Again, more leap passes. We're going to see this in a lot of routines now. We're seeing the gymnasts only do 2 tumbling passes. So in order to get enough bonus to have that 10-0 start value, we're seeing them do multiple leap passes. Front lay, front full. A little bit shuffly on that landing there. Gymnasts on floor are allowed to take 1 step forward or backwards. That's called a lunge. However, the second foot cannot move. And so anytime we see that second move shuffle around, we will see a slight deduction.
Chloe Hoke, the junior out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with her floor routine in and a 9.825. Here's McKenna Smith. Consistent, outstanding senior for Utah out of Albuquerque, New Mexico.
That's what I was going to say. If I wanted anyone in my lineup right now, as we're coming off a little bit trickier of a weekend, it would be McKenna.
A 10-time All-American for the Red Rocks.
Beautiful double wolf turn. McKenna is so confident up there. I love the way she does beam to win instead of not to lose, and she just really attacks it.
She had a career best 39.725 in the all-around that happened in this meet last year.
Beautiful flip lay. Switch leap into the straddle quarter. What we're looking for on those leap passes is there can be no pause. And technically the judges are supposed to be looking at like arm swing. So we'll see. I'm sure she'll get that connection. But just as you're watching at home, that is what the judges are looking for. Gainer off the end. Beautiful positioning there. It was a pike, but she almost did it in like a layout at the end.
Love that celebration.
Look at the height on this. A nice open to see the landing. Great control.
Kenna Smith with a 9.85. A good bounce back for the Red Rocks after the 9.525 from Gantner. We're looking at Annabelle Dewey of Mount Juliet, Tennessee, and a freshman stepping into a big-time spotlight here for the Aggies. Her collegiate debut. Third to vault for the Aggies.
Ooh, another Yurchenko full. That positioning looks like it was a little better on the landing, and we're going to see that as they work through the lineup. Typically, your stronger vaulters are closer to the end. You can see how much straighter her body was coming down right until her feet hit the ground.
One of 6 newcomers that the Aggies are welcoming this season. A 9.75 for Dewey. Back to the floor. Here is Ava Jorgensen of BYU trying to keep the 9.8 plus streak going for the Cougars here early in this meet.
In gymnastics, routines or skills are ranked A through E based on difficulty level, A being the easiest, E being most difficult. This opening pass is an E level skill. Front handspring, front layout with a double twist. A little bit wild on that landing. Very difficult to do. We're going to see that clean up as the season goes on. Second pass, front Rudy, or a front flip with a 1.5 twist.
Jorgensen competed in 3 events on Friday night in the dual meet against Oregon State, but the floor was the one she did not record a score in.
Cat leap into a switch half wolf full. Again, just a lot of good dance difficulty from BYU. Final pass here. Round off, back 1.5, front lay. Beautiful control on that landing. I think a judge would be hard pressed to justify any deduction when you see the gymnast move their second foot to point the toe. You're not going to see a deduction for that. She showed really good control. Overall, a great finish.
Ava Jorgensen, one of BYU's 2 team captains, and now pushing into that true all-around category. Much more from her later tonight. A 9.725 on floor for Jorgensen. Here's Maria Ferguson for Southern Utah on the uneven bars.
You see that springboard mount. The gymnast is only allowed to stand on the low bar 1 time. And so that's why we see them jumping there. Great catch on that. It was a little bit close. Whoa, it looks like her hand slipped off and she recovered so well. Great release down to the low bar, looking for a solid finish here. Gosh, she has really fought through this routine. A little bit short on that handstand.
Stuck landing.
But sticks the landing, yes. Oh, with the curtsy to finish.
Ferguson being congratulated by her teammates. A 9.8 even, best score on bars for Southern Utah thus far out of the 4 to compete. Here's Aliana Valdez, another of those 6 freshmen for Utah State welcomed into the program, and she too is making her official collegiate debut on vault.
Another good Yurchenko full. They have great positioning on the vault. You can see how they bounce. They're not pushing off, they're rebounding off it. Good job by these freshmen out here. This is a big, busy meet to start your college career at, and they are handling that pressure so well.
Aliana Valdez with the 9.825, so the number 4 competitor for the Aggies, like Southern Utah, with the best score thus far. Back over to the balance beam. Abby Reisman and the Red Rocks.
Really beautiful opening for Abby here. Just a beautiful display of flexibility and grace. Nice flick lay to open.
Abby joins Utah after a level 10 national title on bars in 2025.
Beautiful connection, switch leap immediately into the side summy. Required full turn into the beat jump.
Very much an immediate beam contributor as well.
Beautiful.
How about that?
Round off, double twist to land. Stuck like a dart. Huge routine for Utah. That's going to get a great score.
And you called it a 9-9. First one of the night. Belongs to Abby Reisman and the Red Rocks of Utah on beam. You're watching Kylie Quinto, BYU's lone senior, and their best all-around competitor, her first pass on floor. Oh, big hop, and that's going to be a deduction.
Yeah, you can see on the side there a yellow flag went up. Unfortunately, because she bounced back with both feet, they can take 2 tenths because it looked like from here, and maybe I'm off, but it looked like both feet went out. Huge leap pass right there. Anytime the gymnast does that ring position where they intentionally bend the back leg and release the head, it's worth a little bit more. So she actually receives bonus points for that switch ring half wolf full. Spencer, I believe I heard you explaining this routine is for her brothers.
So she's got 5 brothers. The majority of them love and excel at baseball, so she wanted a Major League Baseball, just general baseball themed routine. This music's from the great movie The Sandlot.
Oh, that's adorable.
Said she's been working on her hitting and throwing techniques with her brother's help.
You could call her a multi-sport athlete.
Well, Kylie has a lot to like in that routine, aside from this big tumbling right here, Mikkel. A little bit too much power.
Yeah, great set on that. Beautiful in the air. Toes are nice and tight. And then just, yeah, shoot, bounces right back. They might, no, there's no way. They're definitely going to take 2 tenths. Those are the kind of mistakes that we typically see at the beginning of a season as gymnasts are working out the nerves and learning to control how your gymnastics feels on different equipment.
It appears that Kylie Quinto, with that significant deduction, will probably have her score dropped. And BYU takes a 49 even on the floor. Here's Chelsea Southam, senior for Utah State, on vault.
Ooh. Great vault, nice blind landing, controlled it very well. Made me a little nervous. I thought her legs were a little bit straight, but she rebounded beautifully. That's a very hard vault to do. You can't see the ground until you've already landed.
Southam with the 9.825 on that most recent vault. for head coach Kristen White. Loving that. Good start for the Aggies overall. And here is Avery Neff in the anchor leg for the Red Rocks on Bean. You see Anna Pottereri with a 9.875 and Cami Winger with a 9.8. This is Avery Neff.
Very difficult series that we saw her do there. The aerial into the back handspring. The aerial's hard to keep straight. You're switching directions and it's like sideways and front to back. And she does a great job with that. We saw a good connection there on her next acro move into the Shushanova. That's something that she's struggled a little bit with earlier in the season. That was a great display of how it should be done. Huge amplitude on that dismount. The judges want to see that. They want to see the gymnast takes off and then the skill continues to rise. And that was beautiful execution.
Avery Neff and the Utah fans going nuts in the Maverick Center after that routine. Should be a huge score.
Amplitude on that.
Oh, they're showing a 9.65.
No, I would have to guess.
Did she miss a connection somewhere?
It would have to be a, all those connections look great from watching it on the screen, but I'm wondering if she has to have like a lower start value.
So Utah.
I would be very surprised if that didn't get challenged.
Utah again will right now drop the 9.525 from Gantner, and we'll see if that score from Neff is adjusted at all. On the bars. Here's Alex Routsis.
Solid routine so far. Toe on hand into a double A. That's so hard to do.
The juice is high from her teammates.
Same here. Typically we'll see like a giant into a double A because it gives you speed. If you're doing a toe on into a double A, you're relying 100% on technique, and she did that so well.
9.875 for Alex on that bars routine you just watched. Here's Nyla Morabito on vault for Utah State as we close out rotation number 1.
Wow, that was great amplitude. It was almost so much she wasn't quite ready for the landing. Look how high that is. That's beautiful. Just a little bit of soft knees. Does a great job really trying to pull it back up. You can see she's not super happy with that landing. But I just think as the season continues, we'll see that really improve.
Morabito, because she's a little out to the side and does a shuffle she was trying to hold on, takes a 9.65. So just awaiting the score from Kendall McGuire on bars for Southern Utah. And that is a 9.7. So we have completed rotation number 1 at the Best of Utah meets. The 4 best in the Beehive State move into their second event right after this on ESPN. To the Best of Utah meet. Monday night spectacle from the Maverick Center in West Valley City, Utah. We'll get to rotation 2 in just a moment, but not before we remind you that next Monday night, the College Football National Championship goes down between Miami on their home field against the incredible story that is number 1 ranked Indiana. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. A moment ago, our sideline reporter Mary Hayes speaking with Southern Utah head coach Scott Bauman and his thoughts on the Flippin' Birds opening rotation on the uneven bars.
Coach, Nia Randolph had a strong performance in your season opener and looks to have another strong one tonight. How does her leadership anchor your team this early in the season?
Nia's outstanding. She's just a solid rock for us every meet, in and out. She's that way every day in practice too, so watching her grow and develop has been one of the coolest things you get to see as a coach.
And coming into this meet, you said that your team's focus is competing your brand of gymnastics. What does that mean? or what does that look like in your next rotation on the beam?
Just good, solid beam. You know, we're not trying to, rule the world or anything. We're just trying to get up and do great gymnastics. And we do it every day in practice, and that's our brand, and that's what we want to do.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Scott Bauman and Southern Utah posted the exact same score that BYU did in their opening meet. Good for number 23 coming into this week's meets. Here is Abby Reisman, high score for the Red Rocks on the balance beam with her 9.9. And we should note that Utah had 3 falls in their last quad meet. Early season can be expected, but still they've been so good that it was a shocker. Good to see them bounce back and have a 49+ tonight.
For sure. It's such a good feeling just to leave that behind. That was a weird meet. Leave it behind. This is what we really look like. Let's get on with it.
There's Alex Routsis and her routine on the uneven bars for Coach Bauman and the Flippin' Birds. A 9.875 and a shimmy to show off that routine.
They're excited to be out here. Privileged to get to compete and do what they want to do.
So your opening rotation scores are officially as follows. Utah State with a 48.9 on vault. Keep in mind, this is the first time that the Aggies have competed all year, so no nerves there, it would seem, for the Utah State bunch out of Logan. Southern Utah with an equal 48.9, and we mentioned both BYU and Utah just a hair over 49 on their respective events. Cougars on the floor and the Red Rocks on the beam. Now in rotation 2, BYU will head to the vault. Southern Utah takes on the beam. Utah State over to the uneven bars, and the Red Rocks will show off their tumbling and big gymnastics on the floor. We will begin rotation 2 in our coverage here on the vault. Maya Kirkham set to begin things for BYU in the Cougars' second rotation.
Watching Maya warm up, I was very impressed with the amount of distance that she gets on her vault. The judges are looking for a good balance between height and distance. You want it to look like if you're back in 8th grade math, x squared on the graph. And she demonstrated that beautifully. I'm super excited to see how she competes it.
Maya Kirkham has overcome a number of health setbacks, had a significant season-ending ankle injury. They called it a 3rd-degree sprain. And then after getting through that, Mikkel had to go through a battle with mono. So just getting back.
That was this year.
Yes, what has been a huge challenge. Guard-Young said she's about 90% overall.
And you don't just bounce back from mono. It's like
it takes a minute to get your conditioning back, but she did have a very solid opening meet for the Cougars in that dual meet with Oregon State on Friday night. Kirkham with a 9.75 in that meet on vault and gets the go-ahead from the judges here at Maverick Center.
You see this 414 keep showing. You have to tell the judge what vault you're doing. And so that is the number code for that. Oh, such good control. Tiny bit short on the landing. Gosh, these guys are going for good sticks. Beautiful in the air. I think she was just trying a little too hard, opened up just a tiny bit too soon. You have to let it land itself. Sometimes when you try too hard, it sabotages a little bit. But dang, what a good start.
Maya, a mainstay for BYU on vault and bars. Speaking of those bars, we now head over to Utah State and Sydney Jellin.
Beautiful handstand positions here. Toe on, toe off. Maloney, immediate shoot to handstand. Looking for a big dismount.
You bet!
Wow, what a start for Utah State on bars. Well-deserved celebration. Look at the body position here in the air. Nice and open. Drills those feet into the ground. Great opening routine.
Sydney Jellin trying very hard not to reference a Dr. Scholl's commercial.
We'll hear it.
She was Jellin, okay?
We'll allow it.
Maya Kirkham with a 9.7. Sydney Gellin with a deserved 9.85. Now the Red Rocks on the floor. Their opening competitor, Ashley Glynn. Another senior leader for this Utah side.
Did a great job keeping that up. Had her, so opened up with a front double full. As we mentioned in the last rotation, that's a very difficult pass. An E-level skill to open this routine up. Very hard to do. A little wild on the landing. Had her knee touched the ground, it would have been an automatic half-point deduction. However, because she did keep it up, we will see slightly less taken off for that.
That's notable that she did keep it up, would not hit the mat, because she has been perfect coming into the quad meet last Friday. She was 62 of 62 in hit routines.
Yeah, so this isn't going to be a score she's the most excited about, but she's going to finish strong here. Back 1.5, front leg. Gosh, the rest of that routine was just solid. It's so important after you have a mistake that you finish strong, because she has no idea what her other 5 teammates are going to do. They may have to count this routine. Dang, this was beautiful too. Just opened up a little bit early, really gets that step out. I mean, we're looking at least 3/10 there, probably 4. But the fight, I'll always get behind a fight.
While we wait the score from, from Ashley Glynn. Here's Nia Randolph, our impact performer, Southern Utah, on the balance beam.
Wolf hole to start off the set. You're required to do some kind of full turn on one foot in your beam routine. Typically what we see is just a full, it's just a full turn. But we're starting to see more of these wolf turns because you do get bonus for it. Unique series to open, the front toss to back handspring, back handspring. Off 1.5. I'm struck by how calm she looks up there.
Nia Randolph, the reigning MPSF Gymnast of the Year, with a 9.825 to open up the scoring on beam for Southern Utah. Here's Ava Jorgensen, second to vault for BYU.
Ava does a different vault, full on pike off. Wow, that has just gotten so good over her time at BYU. This vault is actually a 10.0 start value. It's opposite of what you see all the other athletes doing. She does her twist onto the vault, pike off.
Ava making big moves for BYU Gymnastics. In her personal life, she recently got engaged. They're planning the wedding for next summer, so congratulations to Ava. She takes a 9.75 in that second position for BYU on the vault. Now back to the Aggies on the uneven bars. Here's Charlie Lawfer with this infusion of freshmen in the lineup for Kristen White's squad is very impressive.
Yeah, Kristen's team was decimated. Gosh, this is a fun routine. It's a little bit backwards from what we normally see. She started with the shoot over, toe hex. Beautiful, nice a shoosh on the high bar. We do not see those very often. They're very difficult to do. Solid landing. That was a fun routine to watch.
Away from Grand Rapids, Michigan to Logan.
Yeah, but Coach White has just really rebuilt this team almost from scratch, and I've been so impressed with the work that she's put into them.
This is Avery Neff. Again, had the perfect 10 on the vault. Utah's quad meet on Friday. Looking for a big score here on the floor.
Opening pass. Wow. Front. I don't know. That was so much. There was so much happening right there. Front double full. I think it was a Branny. I can't remember now. It just kept going.
Reigning Big 12 Newcomer of the Year, 4-time All-American. And that was all in her freshman season a year ago.
Avery was probably one of the most highly sought after recruits. And seeing how well she did as a freshman and look at her now, you can definitely see why. Round off, back 1.5, front full, so much difficulty in this floor routine, and it just keeps going. The energy is very high the entire time.
Avery Neff, and here's a look at that fantastic first pass.
We'll get a better look at what it was. Opens up with the front double full immediately into the Branny, and this is where I thought it was going to stop. She goes right into the double stag, brings it back, round off, back full, walk out.
You could have ended the routine there, it felt like.
It reminded me of 1996 Olympics when Dominique Dawes would tumble back and forth. If there's anyone a little bit older watching the meet, she used to go back and forth, and that's what that reminded me of.
Avery Neff with a 9.875. Tells you what they thought of that first pass, and the majority of it had a little bit of a shuffle on that second pass with their feet, but a deserved high score.
Yeah. 9.875, will never be sad about that. Over to Maya Hampton on the beam. Opens up with a beautiful, wow, front aerial into the flick lay. These 3 skill passes are exciting because your routine starts at 9.4. You have to get 6/10 of bonus. That series that we just saw Maya do, she's going to get 5/10 of bonus for that. So very difficult to connect all of that together.
The MPSF Freshman of the Year a season ago. Now looking to take a big step forward in this, her sophomore campaign.
Maya's one of the captains, and Coach Scotty was talking about what a contributor she has been to the team. They lost a couple of seniors that they were like, how are we going to replace these guys? And Maya has really stepped up to do so.
Hampton with a 9.75 for that effort. We're looking at Daisy Stevenson, BYU freshman out of McKinney, Texas. She stuck this landing in her first meet, trying to do it again here.
Oh, not quite, but beautiful. Look at the height on that. And this is what we were talking about earlier in the broadcast. Watch her body position as she comes down. She is almost totally straight until right before her feet hit. And that is what we want to see.
Daisy Stevenson with a 9.8. Best score for the Cougars through 3 competitors on the vault. Now over to the uneven bars. Isabella Vader, junior from Las Vegas. Correction on her last name. Vaughter, Isabella Vaughter. Onto the uneven bars for the Aggies.
Gosh, another beautiful handstand. Free hip. Ooh, into a nice straddle ginger. I questioned myself for a second if it was a Delchev or not. You don't see that positioning very much on a ginger. Wow, great distance on that double leg. A little bit short on the landing, does have to take the large step forward, but manages to keep it up on her feet. I think that does want to be Delchev.
Here's that dismount.
Yeah, we can see, whoops. Would have been very easy for that knee touch. She keeps it up, does a great job there.
Vaughter awaiting her score on the bars. We'll head over to the beam. And Riley Miller of Southern Utah.
Beautiful flip way to open. Very confident up there. That leap into the switch half beat jump. Required toe turn. Prepping for a big dismount here. Round off, double full. Slight shift backward on the landing, but holds on to it pretty good. Here's another look at that dismount. You can see the legs are a little bit crisscrossing in the air. The judges will take a slight deduction for that, but overall, great control, very clean routine.
Riley Miller with a 9.85 for that clean routine you bring up, Mikkel. Back to the floor, here's Ella Zerbes.
Opens up with another double twisting front layout. Great control on that landing. Beautiful leap pass. You can see she went down to that one knee. There's some creative licensing that is allowed in gymnastics without a deduction. You can see she had control when her first foot hit. It's the same idea as when we see the jumps done out of the tumbling passes. Totally allowed.
Zerbes, another three-time All-American for the Red Rocks. Do her next pass.
Again, lots of good difficulty. Back 1.5 into the front full. Solid routine for floor. Let's take another look at that final pass. Round off, back 1.5. Look at the control here. Look at the legs squeezing in the air. Love to see that. Does a great job keeping her shoulders up going into that front full. Shows plenty of amplitude on that second flip. Great routine.
Zerbes trying to follow up Avery Neff's 9.875 with her own big score. We take you now to Scarlett Sonnenberg, BYU's first ever 5-star recruit in gymnastics.
Opened up with a huge back 1.5 last week. See if we can get it again. Wow. You know, on Saturday when she performed that, Friday, whenever they had their meet, she was quite short on it. You can see she's still getting used to finding that landing. Big improvement here. Still just a tiny bit short. She is going to receive a larger deduction for taking a step back instead of a step forward because it indicates that it was slightly under-rotated. So a little bit more of a deduction there, but still super clean vault.
The difficulty of the vaults, in spite of the mistake, produces a 9.825 for the freshman Sonnenberg. BYU will close it out with Kylie Quinto in a moment. Is Olivia Arango. Onto the bars for Utah State following Vaughters 9-7-5.
Blind change into a huge straddle Jaeger. Immediate shoot over. Looking for a big dismount. Gosh, these dismounts. Utah State has upgraded to some great double A's this year. Body position on the double A. What we want to see in the air is nice and tight. You can see there she, again, just like vault, right? We don't want to see a pike down at the end. So we'll see a slight deduction there, but overall that was a very clean set.
And it earns her a 9.85. So she ties with the opening performer on bars for the Aggies, Sydney Jellin. A couple of 9.85s for USU. London Vandertulen still to go for USU in that event. Now we go to Maria Ferguson on beam for Southern Utah.
Beautiful Corbett to open. I like the composition of this routine. I love how it started with more of an acro skill, moved into a turn. All the other gymnasts that we've seen do wolf turns have opened with that. So the reason we just saw her do this single back handspring, dance up, do it again into the side summy is because you are required to have that acro series connection. So a lot of times that's what we will see. If a gymnast is missing that, we'll see them try again. You're allowed to do each skill 2 times in a routine. So another unique dismount. This was a fun routine to watch. Front gainer full. Really fun. We don't see that done very often. Blind landing. She can't see the ground until after her feet have hit. She does take that step to the side, so that will be a step deduction and a directional deduction. But overall, that was a pretty good routine. Good cover up on the series. Good shaping. That should be a decent score.
9.725 for Ferguson. Southern Utah hoping to get a solid routine from Marissa DeGroot to be able to drop the 9.1 from the fall of Elliot Bringhurst. Ella Zirbes with a 9.925, highest score we've seen on any event from any competitor tonight. She did it on the floor. Now it's Zoe Johnson's turn for the Red Rocks.
Opens with a round off back handspring double A. A little bit short on the landing, but keeps it up. Last year, Zoe had a little bit more of an upbeat routine, and Coach Carly was like, girl, you've got to smile more. And this year she said, hey, I'll make you a deal. What if we do like a creepier routine and then you don't have to smile at all? And she's really been just leaning into this and performing it really well. Prepping for that next tumbling pass. Front flip. Walk through, round off back handspring, double pike. Overall, a good set for Zoe. Both landings were just slightly short, so we won't see probably her best score, but it was a solid routine overall.
Zoe Johnson, 10s all around. Takes a 9.7. With Sarah Crump and McKenna Smith still to go and score on the floor for the Red Rocks. Here is your anchor performer on bars for Utah State. It is London Vandertulen.
Toe on, toe off. Right into into the Maloney. Good tight legs on that backswing. Immediate pack.
Big routine here, Mikhail. They're trying to drop a 9-1-5 after a fall from Avery Bibby.
Oh, a beautiful stall there. We don't see those very often. Dang! Just the littlest hop on the landing there. Overall, that was a solid set. Love it when we get to see these skills that have kind of fallen by the wayside. You really don't see the stalder done as much. It's that toe on, toe off now. Love getting to see that.
Sophomore London Vandertulen out of Cottonwood Heights, Utah. Marissa DeGroot next to go on beam for Southern Utah. She too trying to close it out so that the Thunderbirds can drop the low 9-1 and stay very much in contention to win this meet.
Another Wolf full turn. Oh, holds on to it. So flick lay, obviously the turn sideways with the foot raise is going to be a large deduction. She did stay on though. Solid lead pass to return. Strong side sunny. Really clean dismount. Large bobble at the beginning, came back, finished really strong. Because of it, we're going to see something closer to like a 9-6 here. You see, turn sideways, gripping the beam with her toes. Another second bobble there, but then really came back and finished strong.
Marissa DeGroot scored a 9.5 in her opening routine of the season on beam. And jumped up a tenth this time around with a 9.6. Now for McKenna Smith, trying to close things out with a big score for the Red Rocks on the floor.
Wow.
That'll do as an opening pass.
Front double full into a beautiful front touch. Cat leap full, double full into a really pretty stag leap. Front handspring, Rudy back layout walkout. Little throw to the cheerleaders. Beautiful routine. No surprise that consistent McKenna hits her set.
What else do you expect from your reigning Big 12 floor champion? She scored a 9.875 or better 11 of 15 times in this event last year.
Look at that front flip, how floaty it is. Spencer and I always want to talk about how consistent she is, and we've agreed.
We're banging the drum again, and she scores a 9.9.
See? It's because we held back on jinxing her.
That will help Utah.
You're welcome, Utah.
A big score on floor, 49.225. So the Red Rocks flex and move firmly into first place through 2 rotations at the best of Utah meets. We're into rotation 3 after this. Maverick Center, this is the best of Utah quad meet gymnastics showcase. Timeout for basketball for a moment because on Wednesday nights, A.J. Dibonsa, projected #1 draft pick in the NBA. He and the BYU Cougars, ranked number 11 in the country, host TCU. Late start from the Marriott Center in Provo, 11 Eastern, 9 Mountain. Watch it live on ESPN. There is the Best of Utah trophy. We are through 2 rotations, and thanks to a big floor score from Utah, the Red Rocks in first place right now. We'll start our highlights, however, on bars with Utah State and Sydney Jellick.
Great opening for Sydney. Just really, really solid. A couple little, good landing. A couple of form breaks. I'm really excited to see this Utah State team as the season continues on.
Utah State in their season debut, very good through 2 rotations. Not showing a ton of nerves and implementing a lot of freshmen. Ella Zirbas, the high scorer for the Red Rocks on floor with a massive 9.925.
That tumbling was so clean and beautiful. Awesome landings. The whole thing was just energy from start to finish.
Now, as we await the start of rotation 3, we'll head over to Mary Hayes, our sideline reporter, who spoke a moment ago with the head coach of the Aggies, Kristen White.
Valuable is it for your athletes to open this season in such a high-energy environment like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible to start in a championship environment. All 4 of these schools are phenomenal schools, so to be able to compete in this environment and start really strong, I'm really proud of our team.
What is the main thing that you're telling your team as they transition from the bars to beam?
Just trust. We got a lot of new lineups out there, a lot of new faces, and just believe in our training. You know, we worked really hard this preseason, and, you know, I just want them to have a great meet and really believe in themselves.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Go Aggies.
Kristen White in her 4th season doing great things. You said it, Mikkel. Her lineup was decimated coming into the season. They look to, in many ways, not have skipped a beat. One of the teams to beat in the Mountain West.
Yeah, the last coach really gutted the team when she left. She took a lot of players with her, and the way Kristen has just rebuilt the team. I've only heard good things about how she coaches, how she treats the athletes. I've been really impressed with her and the Utah State program.
Here are your events for the 3rd rotation, beginning with Utah on vault, the Red Rocks' best event through 2 meets this season, ranked number 3 in the country on vault. I know it's early, but that is the case. And thanks to a perfect 10 from Avery Knapp helping out there. Clara Raposo to open things up for Utah. Utah State will be on the beam. BYU moves to the uneven bars, the Cougars' best event and where they have the most depth. And Southern Utah will compete on floor.
You know, I don't feel like historically Utah has been known as like a vault school, but they brought in Coach Mike Hunger a few years ago, and they've just really dialed in good foundational moves.
Here is Raposo, sophomore out of Toronto.
Oh, darn it. Uncharacteristic fall from Raposo. Huge back 1.5 here. Man, so much height. Unfortunately, automatic half point off anytime the athlete falls. A little bit of pressure now on the rest of lineup to hit their sets. 6 gymnasts compete, only 5 scores count. So we're hoping to drop this first vault score.
Clara getting some instruction from her head coach, Carly Dockendorf. Move our coverage now to the floor. Mia Hampton beginning things for Southern Utah.
Yeah, again, SUU lost a couple great floor workers. 2 really good contributing seniors with Ellie Cachola and Taylor Goal. And Coach Skies just talked about how Mia's just really stepped into this role. Great leadership, and they can really depend on her to hit her sets.
Hampton posted a 9.9 twice on floor in her 2025 freshman campaign. She is capable of big scores.
Another front handspring double full. So the reason we're seeing so many of those tonight is because with those E-level skills, you get automatic 2/10 bonus just for completing it. So if you're able to do it well, what we're seeing a lot of times now is that the athletes are only doing 2 flip passes. They're getting so many 10s of bonus in that opening pass, they're just dropping the 3rd pass. It's a good way to minimize deductions and also to kind of keep the gymnast healthier throughout the long season, not having to practice and compete that 3rd pass. Front handspring Rudy, back layout step out. And the reason we're seeing the athletes do the back layout step out of the Rudy is because you have to tumble forward and backwards. So these athletes that are very strong front tumblers are still going to take advantage of it by throwing an easier back move in. So you see here, front, 1.5 twist into the more simple back layout step out.
Mia Hampton through the opening routine. There's Scott Bowman, our head coach. Southern Utah began this rotation in 3rd place, less than a 10th behind BYU in 2nd, and the Red Rocks of Utah in front by 3/10. Raposo takes a 9.2 after her unexpected fall on vault. Here is Maya Kirkham on the uneven bars. The head coach, Gard Young, is back coaching the bars after a change to his staff. Told everyone this on Friday on ESPN when we were doing the dual meet against Oregon State. When I asked him what the best event for the Cougars was, he said, well, I'm coaching bars, so it's bars.
So obviously it's bars.
Pretty good routine for Maya. A little bit of a shuffle on
little bit of a shuffle backward on the dismount, and all of the handstands were just slightly short, just slightly short. So if we see a score that's lower than we had hoped for, that's going to be why. But overall, what a great opening routine. Kind of kick off BYU's bar rotation.
Mia Hampton kicks off the floor scoring for Southern Utah with a nice 9.825. Maya Kirkham for BYU just finished on bars. Get you her score in just a moment. And we turn our attention to Sydney Jellin, who opens up the beam for Utah State. The lead-off leg for Jellin on bars and beam.
Great start so far. Again, that difficult series side aerial into the back handspring. Woo! Held on to that. You can see the relief on her face. Really held on to that, minimized any deductions that could be taken. Really pretty switch leap. Looking for a solid dismount, back handspring into the gainer full off the side. Very happy with her performance.
Sydney Jellin, a first-team All-Mountain West performer on the beam, and showing you why there.
That was, remind me, what year is she? Is she a freshman?
So I believe, well, she was an All-Mountain West performer last year, so
obviously not.
She's at least a sophomore, confirming that right now.
I put Spencer on the spot there.
Junior season.
Okay. I was going to say, I'm so impressed with, she looks so steady up there. Sorry about that, Jellin.
She's Jellin, okay? Junior out of Algonquin, Illinois. Ella Zirbes on vault. Oh, hanging on.
Hangs on to it. Oh, we're not going to see this vault that she wants. Awesome landing. Watch the knees here in the air. Really good. Oh, and then does a little bit of a tuck for that final half. Great stick. Just not going to see the kind of score you would assume after watching a 1.5 be stuck that well.
A 9.875.
That was generous.
Okay, so coming in a little bit higher than you anticipated. That doesn't happen often.
I know, I'm usually... yeah, there's a breakdown. I mean, 3/4 of this... Yeah, anyways. I thought that was a generous score, but good for her.
Zirbes having a meet. She's got a 9.925 and a 9.875 to her credit tonight. On the bars for BYU is Addie Glazier.
Line change into the straddle Jaeger. You could see she caught very close, had to bend the arms. Her face was pretty darn close to the bar, but look at this recovery. With a great transitional release, and wow, really works to hold on to that double leg dismount.
As a freshman last year, competed in every meet last season on bars. Not surprisingly, back in the lineup. And trying to one-up Maya Kirkham, who scores a 9.75. Here is Alyssa Fernandez on floor for Southern Utah.
Opens with a big double back, good control on that landing. That's what I was talking about earlier when we want to see you can take the step back, but it needs to be so controlled. Floor is the only event that's allowed on. Round off back 1.5 front layout. Slowing it down here. Full routines are about 90 seconds long, but they are so exhausting. So a lot of times before this third pass, we'll see the gymnasts really take the opportunity. A little bit slower dance, try and catch their breath. Front Rudy. Another good job holding on to that landing. You can see here this mat that she's landing on. It's called a 4-incher. There's 2 mats that are allowed on the floor, the 4-incher and a sting mat. Both can be on there without deduction. It's just to help the gymnasts stay a little bit safer throughout the long season.
Alyssa Fernandez, yeah, with the 9.75. Now back to Captain Consistency, McKenna Smith.
You say that after she goes.
She hasn't proved me wrong yet.
New vault for McKenna this year.
Again! Mikkel, we were saying.
She's been working these newer vaults. She's also been working pike half out. I was told that she was working a half out to land more consistently, but look at this. She does the blind landing, freaking nails it.
Oh, this is definitely going to be a 9.9 better or better. Maybe a 9.95, Mikkel. There wasn't much wrong with that. And the score for McKenna Smith is a 9.95.
Look at you.
Do you feel like that one's generous?
No. No, that was...
earned.
So, yes. I know, I'm working on not wanting to award everyone 10s, because then I'm usually wanting really high scores, but then it's unfair. It doesn't allow differentiation from the best athletes.
At this point, I think it's safe to say Utah has officially shaken off the last meet.
Yeah, they're doing great.
Starting to look like the team that was number 5 in the preseason poll.
Oh, yes, over to Beam. Valdez with the beautiful flick lay to open her set.
Aliana Valdez, freshman out of Huntington Beach, California.
Asking about the freshmen earlier, I was just curious. It seems like Utah State has a lot of freshmen.
6 of them
Yeah.
on the roster this year, and the majority of them in prominent roles.
Yes, and in my head, this meet is very chaotic. And so I like a quad meet for freshmen because it feels more similar to how a club meet would feel, all 4 events going at the same time. But this is loud and would it be very intimidating. And they are handling it so well. Great double twisting dismount, little slide back on the landing, but overall really good control.
Aliana Valdez. The lights definitely not too bright. Kristen White is building something in Logan. The freshman infusion of talent. Looking strong here tonight for the Aggies. A 9.825 for Valdez. Back to the bars. A handstand just a little bit short, Mikkel. Here's Deb Silva.
Beautiful Jaeger, though. Great. Dang it, just a little bit short again. Everything else is looking so good. These are the kind of mistakes that we see at the beginning of season. Gymnasts don't want to cast over, so they get a little bit tight in their performances. Wow. Did a great job holding on to that full twisting double back. Tons of distance, so much distance I didn't know if she'd be able to keep it up, and does a great job. So yeah, probably not going to be her top score. All 3 handstands were just a tiny bit short, but her actual skills were beautiful.
A mini hop to the left. She takes a 9.8. And here is Avery Neff.
A little bit of pressure on her coming off that 10-0, but Avery really shines under the light.
All eyes on Neff after that perfect 10. Here is her vault. Oh, man!
So good still. It says how good she is, the fact that she took the babyest hop ever, and we're like a little disappointed, right? Like, the bar is so high for her. Beautiful vault. That's going to be a great score.
I imagine that, too, will be in the area of a 9.9, and it is a 9.9 straight up for Avery Neff. So the Red Rocks deliver in their best event of the year. They have put up their best score of the meet tonight of 49.375. Including the 9.95 from McKenna Smith, the 9.9 from Neff, and a 9.875 from Zirbis. Berlin Hall, freshman for Southern Utah on the floor, is 4th to compete.
When asking the coaches who they're excited to see this weekend, Berlin was one of the ones mentioned by name. Wow, a solid landing, doesn't even need the lunge out. Great clean dance so far, very crisp. SU does a great job. She looks like her Leo came unclasped, which means it's just distracting, right? Like, it's distracting for her, and she's doing a great job just staying in it. Beautiful Rudy into that back layout walkout. That was a very clean routine. There really wasn't much to say about it. So good.
Yeah, she's...
It's so distracting when something happens. Like, it can happen on bars, right? Like, your something will happen with your grip or, you know, a leotard, and you just have to keep going.
Just power through, like you said. Props to her for fighting through it for a 9.875, no less.
Well deserved. Super clean set.
There's Ava Jorgensen.
There's the
hanging
handstand
on
efforts
there.
we were looking for. Beautiful, Ray. Dang. Toe on, toe off into a beautiful bail handstand. Bail 2 handstand. You can see she almost fell over on her first handstand, so her next handstands were all short. Wow.
Good recovery after
Really solid
tough
on that
handstands,
dismount.
but yes, a stuck landing. We'll see how much that saves Ava Jorgensen in her score.
This is a beautiful, beautiful double A. Look at that body position throughout. Sometimes what we'll see is a huge arch followed by a big pike down, and her body position is pretty straight throughout most of the skill.
Olivia Arengo on the beam for Utah State. Sophomore out of Rogers, Minnesota.
Cat lead front toss, backhand spring. A little bit slow on the connection from the cat leap into the front toss. We'll see if she gets that connection. Switch leap, split jump. Back 1.5. All of the athletes tonight, their back 1.5s have done a fabulous job with the landings. Again, blind landing, you cannot see the ground until your feet have already hit. Great stick considering that.
Olivia Arengo with a 9.8. Utah State continues to look very good in their season debut. In a high energy, pressure packed best of Utah meet. Now, BYU could use a big score from their best bars performer. It is Lila Alvarado. Again, BYU believes this is their best, deepest event, but they just haven't put together the solid routines they were hoping for.
Yeah, I think we're just seeing a little bit of that shaking off the rust because they have good bones. The mistakes we're seeing are just a little bit off.
Better on the handstands for Alvarado.
So much better on the handstands. Woo! Really works to hold on to that landing. Honestly, so in that routine, all I saw, the landing, obviously, and then the feet came apart a little bit coming out of the Maloney. So this should be like a fairly good routine, but this is all stuff that we'll see get cleaned up as the season continues on. The bummer is we have new rules this year, and before, teams could just drop these first meets. They didn't really matter. They were like warm-up meets. However, our NQS, our national qualifying score, has changed, and now it's to the point where teams will be counting the meets at the beginning and end of season in ways they haven't before.
Less room for error for every team.
Yeah, before if you had a bad meet, whatever, we're just going to drop that anyways. Now that is not the case.
Alvarado, Mikkel, takes a 9.65.
Yeah, it was just the dismount, and then when you swing back on that Maloney, you have to keep your feet together or you're going to get a deduction.
So BYU settles in on a 48.75 on bars. They expect to get a 49 plus every time in that event. Not the score they were looking for. We'll see how it impacts going into the final rotation. Meantime, here's Aurelia Martinez, Southern Utah.
Having 2.96 type scores is not characteristic of their bar routine. I'd be surprised if we continue to see that going forward. This is a fun floor routine. Really has just shown it off. Great performance value. You ready for that next tumbling pass? Front handspring, front full, front leg, keeps it up. Because she took the step back instead of the step forward, that will be a slight deduction, right? Indicates a little bit of under rotation. She did a great job keeping that up on her feet, though.
Martinez finishes off her routine as we look back. And one of those passes.
Really strong front 1.5 into the back layout, step out.
Martinez with a 9.825. Southern Utah with a 48.975. And the race for second in this meet is very close. Utah has pulled ahead with big scores on vault and floor. BYU, Utah State, and Southern Utah all within 2/10 of each other as we go into the fourth and final rotation.
Yeah, literally anything can happen when you still have a full rotation left.
Big time gymnastics on a Monday night at this quad meet at the Maverick Center in West Valley, Utah. You were talking about the national qualifying score earlier, Mikkel.
Yes.
So let's get into some of the nitty-gritty of that. We mentioned that to be a Division I program, you have to compete at least 9 times.
Yeah.
You can compete up to 13 times, but not every gymnastics team's going to be able to do that. A lot goes into that in the scheduling, and they found out on December 1st, so it wasn't like teams could scramble this year and be like, okay, let's add this meet, or let's subtract this one.
I actually love this rule change. I hate the way it was rolled out. I don't think it was fair. I hate this little bonus rule that they stuck in just for Utah gymnastics about you have to be at least 30 miles away. But overall, I think it's going to make the entire season more exciting to watch as a fan.
Yeah, the away meet radius is a unique thing.
Yes.
This counts as a home meet for Utah because of that rule.
Yes.
Mikkel's not a fan, but she is a fan of what the Red Rocks have been doing over the past few events. Great gymnastics continues as we hit the final rotation. We move into the fourth and final rotation of the Best of Utah meet. 4 teams, all from the Beehive State, and putting together some of their best gymnastics in that third rotation specifically. Notably, the Red Rocks of Utah on vault, their best event of the season on average. Avery Neff wasn't a 10, but it was a 9-9, Mikkel.
It was beautiful nonetheless. Beautiful position in the air, tons of amplitude, great control demonstrated without.
Well, the 9-9 is great, right? Well, McKenna Smith did one better with this 9.95.
Huge. That is such a huge, hard vault as well. That half on, front off. That's why we don't see it often. The difficulty level is just insane. And look at how well she executes it.
The blind landing stick is just ridiculous.
Especially when you think about how hard vault actually is, right? They are running at Mach 12 toward a stationary object, and then to just stop like that, that's crazy.
I'm going to take a guess that Utah head coach Carly Dockendorf is in a much better mood at the current moment than she was on Friday. A moment ago, she spoke with Mary Hayes, our sideline reporter.
Coach, the equipment used tonight is the same that's going to be used for nationals. How valuable is it for your team to experience this early on in the season?
Yeah, it's huge for us to be able to be out here and be on the equipment that'll be at the national championships and just get comfortable with it, and it'll be a good reminder when we get to nationals that we've already been on it.
I've been on the sideline all night watching your team cheer and actively lift each other up. How impactful is that for their performance in a meet like this?
Yeah, I mean, they really enjoy being with one another, and, you know, we work really hard so we can come out and compete and enjoy being out here, and I think you can see that. They just have so much fun being together and competing together.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Go Utes.
Carly Dockendorf, Utah, with a solid lead, pacing for a win here in this quad meet, but obviously wanting to punctuate tonight's performance on the uneven bars. They got a shot at hitting 197, Mikkel. That would be quite a statement, given they hit in the 195s on Friday night.
Yeah, again, that's more on par with like that's more expected of where they'd be, but it would definitely be nice to just be able to kind of leave that me in the past for them.
Southern Utah will finish on the vault. BYU is on the balance beam. We mentioned the Red Rocks of Utah on the bars, and Utah State takes to the floor. Battle for second place is very real. Southern Utah in second right now. Correction, Utah State in second right now with 146.825. They're a 10th ahead of BYU at 146.725. And the Cougars are just a 10th ahead of Southern Utah. So let's ramp up the competition, shall we? Add some drama to this thing. I know that the teams are, in their minds, competing against themselves. They want to get better from the last score that they put together.
Spencer comes from sports ball, where wins and losses matter a lot. And I come from gymnastics, where I'm like, they can all do good.
You can. You just want a winner. I know that guy, Guard Young, who just showed you. He cares about his team potentially finishing in second tonight. As do Kristen White and Scott Bauman. Solid gymnastics across the board. And all four teams competing here tonight. Obviously, Utah, top 5 caliber. But the other three feel like they're going to be in the top 25 when the season ends and all be part of the NCAA regionals.
I feel like all 3 of these remaining teams are very overlooked and are fabulous. Look at this. Look at this. Good gymnastics.
Mia Hampton.
I've been super excited to see Mia on vault. She was specifically put in to replace Ellie Cachola, and look at how she has stepped up. Awesome positioning on the vault.
She doesn't move.
No. Unquestionable on that stick.
I'll add that one to the hype video. Wow, what a start for Southern Utah. They're in 4th, but just barely. That'll help. BYU with Scarlett Sonnenberg, their freshman star, on the balance beam.
Really good flick lay to open up. You can see she was almost going to bobble to that left side. Really worked to pull that back on. It's always exciting when you can get a...
Oh, shoot.
I was going to say, it's always exciting when you get a freshman that feels comfortable competing beam, because I think beam is one of the hardest events to compete. A lot of pressure on Scarlett to finish strong here. We're going to try to minimize any future deductions. Back handspring gainer full to finish.
Her beam coach, Natalie Brookman, giving her some instruction, and there is the fall.
You know, unfortunately, I'm not even 100% sure if it was supposed to be a straddle quarter and she over-rotated, or a straddle half and she under-rotated it. It just got a little bit off, and it would have been very difficult to save. So a little bit of pressure now on the remaining beam team performers.
This happened to BYU in their opening meet on Friday. An early fall on beam, and the back 5 needed to step up, so the Cougars back in the same position, and with second place on the line here tonight in this quad meet. Mia Hampton with a 9.825, so her start value on that vault, not as high as some of we have seen, Mikkel, but the stock landing, 9.825 is a great score.
Yeah. Starts at a 9.95. I thought it would be a tiny bit higher, but apparently I've been wrong a lot tonight. So really great start for Utah on the bars. Oh,
hanging on, McKinnon. Oh, just a slide hop forward. She's had a superlative night overall. McKenna Smith, the all-around star for the Red Rocks.
Toe on, toe off into the pike front. Branny out. Ah, the fight here. I thought she was going to put her hand down, and I might have crashed out after we've talked about how steady she's been. I was going to say, honestly, that was her main deduction, only deduction. The rest of that routine was very clean.
9.775 for McKenna Smith. 9.050 for Sonnenberg on the beam for BYU. There's Marley Peterson as Utah State begins their floor rotation.
You can see the line judge trying to see if she backed up over the line. Sometimes athletes would do that. Again, super important that you stay on the inside of those white lines on the ground. Anytime an athlete goes over, it is 1/10 of deduction per foot. Wow, great amplitude on that leap series. The little chalk circle you can see here in the corner, that's what the athletes are looking at. You can see her look down at it. She is so close to the corner. You can see her look down at that little circle in the corner. That's what helps the athletes figure out where they are spatially. You're not allowed to look back as you back into it.
Marley Peterson is a floor specialist. Her only event, the senior out of Bountiful, Utah. And here is that pass.
Really strong front tumbling is what we've seen tonight. A little bit loose in the legs. You'll see when we saw that replay, you could see the legs were a little bit apart in all of her skills. Again, as season goes on, we're going to see those form deductions slowly start to move away.
9.675 for Marley Peterson on the floor. Here's Hazel Smith. You want to talk about pressure for a freshman? She watched her freshman teammate Scarlett Sonnenberg take an early fall, and now she's trying to change the momentum here for BYU.
So this is an unpopular opinion, but I want a freshman up in this position. In club gymnastics, there's no team sport. You're just competing for yourself. And so I feel like it kind of takes you a while to get into that mindset of that pressure that happens when someone falls in front of you. And I think she's ready for this. Really solid so far. And she looks really confident up there. Beautiful split jump into the split three-quarter. Gainer full off the side. A great hit routine. Exactly what the Cougars needed to just get them back on track.
One more look at that dismount and hold it.
Does a great job holding it a lot of distance. I would love to see that land a little bit closer to the beam, but honestly, great set.
Hazel Smith with a 9.8. Good answer for BYU after the early fall. Here's Abby Reisman. Second to go on the uneven bars for the Red Rocks.
Oh, beautiful handstand. Wow. Higgins into a pike Jaeger. The control in this routine is gorgeous. Beautiful pack into a pirouette done right in the vertical position. Looking for a solid dismount here. Double!
That'll do.
Wow, this is going to be a good score. That whole routine, the control that she demonstrated throughout it was incredible. Great dismount, really knows where she's at with on that landing. You see Jimmy pumping his fist in the background.
Hey, I get it. That was outstanding.
We're all pumping our fists.
Level 10 national champion, freshman phenom Abby Reisman. Her specialty is bars. Coming in, Mikkel, and she delivered.
Over to the vault.
Maya Randolph.
Another huge Yurchenko fall. Tons of amplitude. The Thunderbirds have always had very good-looking vaults. They're very tight in the air. They're done technically well. I think we're just going to see their landings improve as the months go on.
Abby Reisman with a 9.925 for her effort on bars.
Well deserved.
Randolph with the 9.825 on that vault. Here is Utah State back on the floor.
Nice.
It is Mara Gruber.
A nice 2.5 to open. Good control on that lead pass. Moves into a round off, back 1.5 front fold. I don't feel like we've seen these back 1.5 front folds in years past. I feel like we're seeing more of them this season. Done really, really well. Overall, very clean routine for the freshman. She's got to be excited to have that as her college debut.
Mara Gruber brings in a 9.825. Back over to the beam, Ava Jorgensen for BYU. Trying to keep the good momentum rolling for the Cougars here, so that BYU can drop the opening fall.
You can see her starting at the very end of that beam, so she has room for this 3-move acro series. Flick, flick, into the layout, step out, 5/10 bonus. Really pretty jump there. Did a great job hitting that straddle position. For a big dismount, round off, 1.5, really works to hold on to that landing.
2 clean routines for BYU on beam.
And I need to correct myself. I said that flick flick lay was 5/10, that is 3/10 bonus. Either way, she's going to be glad to have that in her set.
Anna Potterariu. She too has the capability of putting together a massive score in this event.
Yeah, Anna is coming off a less than ideal routine at her last meet, so this is a little bit of a redemption set for her.
Wow.
These are the handstands I've been wanting all night.
Oh, come on!
Okay, look at that. It's too bad how they're not excited about it.
We need a little more enthusiasm, folks.
Watch this handstand. Wow, the toe point, the legs, the holding it, toe on, toe off. Huge front pike. Brandy out. Sees the ground. Freaking 10 feet in the air. Holds on to that landing. Great set.
Precision. And another 9.925. Hey, the Red Rocks might hit 197. I'm telling you, this is massive. On the floor, here is Sienna Yell for Utah State. Opening pass.
Front double fold, tons of energy, a little bit too much on the landing. You saw that back foot slide forward. Really good show of flexibility there on that loop pass. Round off, back 1.5, front layout, better landing. Another solid set for USU.
Sienna Yell. Another of those floor specialists for the Aggies. She earns a 9.8 following Gruber's 9.825. Well, what does Ella Zirvis have in store after back-to-back 9.925s?
You know what? She's coming off of a 9.95.
Opening handstand, solid.
Yes. Wow, the amplitude. Jaeger into immediate shoot over. Again, beautiful handstand. Looking for a big dismount. Full twisting double back.
They got everything working in this event.
Solid landing. Man, these have been some good sets. Really high. Look at how high she is above the bar there. Tons of time to find that landing. Holds the landing. Clicks the heels together. That is not a deduction. You are allowed to land with your feet a little bit apart. It's smart to do that. It's kind of like balancing a pencil versus something wider, I guess. I don't know. But as long as you can snap your heels together, then you don't get a deduction for having your feet apart on the landing.
Love that visualization that you presented there, Mikkel.
Started talking, realized I didn't have.
Come on.
Yeah, wider base.
This is what endears you to everybody watching. A 9.95 again. So she's done it 2 meets in a row. Ella Zirvis.
Oh, hold on.
Here is Chloe Hope. BYU's trying to piece together a clutch beam performance as a team. Hazel Smith, Ava Jorgensen with 9.8s. Can Chloe Hope keep it rolling?
Oh, beautiful jump pass.
I almost don't want to jinx what I'm about to say, Mikkel.
I'm so nervous right now.
All four teams have not had to count a ball.
Spencer.
We're testing the announcer jinx tonight.
Beautiful aerial. We're just looking for a really solid dismount now. Oh, I'm so mad at you now. I'm like so stressed. Round off, back 1.5. Great landing. We'll see the heel click. Solid set for
Chloe Hoke. Look at some of those highlights and the dismount.
Great form in the air. Earlier we saw on those back 1.5s the legs kind of crisscrossing. Chloe did a great job demonstrating how that should actually look.
Very talented daughter of a 3-time Super Bowl champion, Chris Hope. Long-time stand-up for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bailey Stroud.
Good handstand right into a beautiful rig. Great spacing there. Immediate pack out of the release. Moves back to high bar, getting ready for a big dismount. Double layout. Oh, does a great job holding on to that.
Look at that replay, Mikkel.
I'm so impressed with their form. Like, it's one thing, this is what the judges want to see, right? It's one thing to have your legs straight. It's a totally different thing to just have them squeezing so tight.
Well, she'll have to settle for a 9.925.
You know, she had a 9.9 last meet, so this is someone I'm very excited to see throughout the rest of the season.
Utah's already guaranteed, regardless of what Avery Neff does here, to score a 49.5 on bars.
Yeah, bringing them to that 197 that you were hoping for.
And well over it. At a 10th and 3/4. Now can BYU's beam queen, Brynlee Anderson Brookman, do it?
I love how Brynlee attacks the beam. She's very aggressive to the point you almost forget it's only 10 centimeters wide, slightly less than 4 inches. And she makes everything she does look so easy. That leap into the side aerial. Just looking for a solid dismount now. This routine has been phenomenal. Backhand spring gainer fall. Beautiful landing. That's going to be a great score.
She had to recover from a cracked rib injury during a bars workout in the preseason, has fought through it, and just doing her thing on the beam as she has done so consistently for BYU. The Cougars beam queen with a 9.85. And BYU takes a 49 even on the beam to close out their meet. Here is Avery Neff in the anchor leg for Utah on the uneven bars. It's been a slew of 9.9s for the Red Hawks the last 4. Oh, another gorgeous handstand.
Wow, clear hip into a huge ginger, immediate shoot over. Full twisting, double layout to the stuck landing. That was a great set. Look at the height. Again, the form looks great. That is such a difficult dismount to do. We're going to see people either do the double lay or a full twisting double tuck. We rarely are going to see the full twisting double layout done.
What a rotation for Utah on bars, a 49.625. Avery Neff scores a 9.9, and that's the worst of the scoring 5.
But yes, when the lowest score you have to count is a 9.9, you had a decent rotation.
Utah's going to put together a 197.3. And by far, their third meet of the season is their best. We watch Isabella Vader on the floor for Utah State.
Another really powerful front double full to open up this routine. Really pretty lead pass. Moving into that final pass. Round off back 1.5, front lay. Good amplitude on the layout. Another good set for USU. They're looking solid.
Utah State very much in position to finish in second here if they can get solid scores from Vawter, Arango, and Southam. And Vawter does her part with a 9.875. We'll be back with your final scores and highlights from rotation 4. This is the Best of Utah on ESPN. Best of Utah meet through 4 rotations. Here is your final tally. Utah flexing like the preseason top 5 team we knew that they could be, but have yet to show until tonight. A 197.3 Mikkel. That's a top 4 or 5 score. And we expect a lot more of that from Utah pushing forward. But look at what happened in the second, third, and fourth teams. Utah State in their season opener hangs on by 1/10 to finish in second over BYU. 195.825 for the Aggies, 195.725 for the Cougars, and then BYU beats Southern Utah by a 0.5 as the Thunderbirds finish with 195.675. And splitting hairs, quite literally, in the scoring there. McKenna Smith was just announced as the all-around champion here at Maverick Center. She is with Mary Hayes, our sideline reporter, as our all-around champ tonight.
You guys had only 2 days to recover from last weekend, and you bounced back with an amazing performance. What do you feel helped you guys get this win tonight?
I mean, I think we were really just going back and we wanted to fight for it. I mean, that was not our best performance the other day, and we really wanted to go out there and prove what we could do, and it's a great practice for nationals.
The standard is obviously so high for Utah gymnastics. How do you feel this momentum will help you guys moving forward throughout the season?
I think the fact that we overcame what we did a couple days ago, I think that's amazing. I think it's a great start, and I think it's something to put in our back pockets and know that we should be so proud of ourselves and continue to build off of it.
And you should be so proud of yourself. What is the thing that you're most proud of tonight?
I am very proud of sticking my vault. That's what I've been working for, and I was very proud I did not take the step back. I was a little frustrated after the other day.
Amazing performance. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
McKenna Smith, 39.475 in the all-around to win the competition individually. Her team wins handily in the team competition. And just let me reiterate, Mikkel, there's no announcer jinx tonight. I called it. No major falls counted in any event for any of these 4 teams. That is crazy this early in the season for a quad meet.
For a first meet or like a second meet for most of these teams, yes, they have all got to be leaving very proud of what they left out on the floor tonight.
Southern Utah right on par tonight with what they did in their opening meet, equaling it with a 195.675. BYU takes a small step forward in their scoring just 2 days after their opening dual meet, and Utah State, well, they set the bar high for themselves in this opening meet as they push into the Mountain West and beyond. Once again, your champions of the Best of Utah, the Red Rocks of Utah. We appreciate all of you joining us on this Monday night. For Mary Hayes, the fabulous Mikkel Murphy, and every member of our outstanding crew, I'm Spencer Linton saying goodbye from West Valley City, Utah. All matches airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This